Welcome everybody. What is up? You have reached the frequency. This is G here, and we are playing Dead Space 2 on hardcore mode. Find the bare minimum of health and ammo to stay alive. Whenever you die, you restart from your last save, and you can only save 3 times. Yes, indeedy. Now, my cat is like meowing in the background. I don't know if you can hear her. Those are like meows of distress. I'm pretty sure he's heavily bored. But this is actually one of the first times I've ever beaten a game on its hardest difficulty. Well, it's not one of the first, but it's one of the few. I can say that much. It's one of the few times I beat a game on its actual hardest difficulty, and I gotta say I feel highly accomplished. And you can do it too if you follow the steps in this walkthrough. Now, I guess there's a lot to speak on before actually getting into the walkthrough. And another thing, I'm not actually going to be focusing too much on the story. The story is just there to, it's the game. So I can't really change anything about that. Yeah, a couple of things though. One, you really got to know the guns. You really got to know which guns you're best at. You really have to experiment with all the guns. See a couple of strategies you can come up with and how easy it would be to use certain guns in tandem to really get through these necromorph rooms. Because some rooms are very deadly, very, very, absolutely unnecessarily deadly if you don't actually have the right equipment to deal with it. So if you got like, if you're equipped with a flamethrower, ripper, and detonator mines and the plasma cutter, you're going to have a harder time clearing out the later levels where you're going to need a lot more splash damage, a lot more hard-hitting killers. And, it was really interesting. I must have played through Dead Space 2, like 10, maybe more times, just going through the levels, getting to know all of the spawn points, getting to know the weapons, which weapons had better strategies, at least better strategies in terms of getting rid of the necromorphs without taking damage. And there are plenty of times in this walkthrough where I fumbled through a strategy quite hilariously, but I still managed to get out, and that's why I love the weapon set that I chose. If you want to see my weapon set, you're just gonna have to watch and see. It's nothing special, but it's just one of those things that'll have you on the edge of your seat as you're waiting for it to present itself, so to speak. Another thing is you got to be good, very, very good at taking off taking off the necromorph spikes, and or using the environmental spikes to impale your enemies. That's going to be a crucial ammo saving, very crucial ammo saving tactic you can use anywhere, almost in every single room in the game. And you have to know which sections of the monsters, or the necromorphs rather, to cut off that will yield a spike that you can throw. And it's not difficult to spot, or it's not difficult to gather. After all, I believe it's evident, at least on most enemies, what you can cut off and what will be a spike. But it's really I can't even agree that it's really crucial, because for the most part, hardcore mode isn't exactly hardcore. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by that, and you'll see that I mean nothing, like I'm not dissing the game, don't get me wrong, but if you know what you're doing in hardcore mode, you will have no problem. This will be probably another run through Zealot for you, until you actually die, and then you have to restart from your last save, and then you'll be like, damn, it's hardcore. But hardcore mode actually isn't much harder than Zealot. The one thing that you do have to worry about, I believe enemies do like slightly more damage, and I would say that ammo and health are a bit more scarce to find, but as you'll see later in my walkthrough, it's not that scarce that you can't sometimes go crazy and like waste a couple of rounds. I wouldn't recommend that you waste a couple of rounds, but you can do it. But don't do it in every gunfight. Excuse me. And that's why I recommend You know, getting to know the techniques, getting to know mainly how to how to keep calm when you're being chased by like 3, 4, or 5 necromorphs, and being able to just spike most of them. Now, I'm not saying like you have to be a hardcore, or you have to be like a Dead Space guru to get through hardcore mode, but you do have to know a couple of basics that would get you through almost every other difficulty mode easily. If not easily, then just blasting away at everything with, you know, the plasma cutter or even your best gun. The final, well, it's not necessarily the final, it's just the last one that's coming to mind right now. The last thing I can think of is you must keep notes. You have to play through this game a couple of times, especially on Zealot mode, just so you can get an idea of how difficult the game could actually get for you. Zealot mode is, I don't want to say Zealot mode is pretty hardcore, but Zealot mode has its own tough spots that if you're not really prepared for them, it will handle you really easily. But that also ties into hardcore mode. What's hard for you in Zealot mode is probably going to be difficult for you in hardcore mode. So what I would recommend is you play through Zealot a few times, sort of get to know the lay of the land of not of hardcore mode, of Dead Space 2 rather, since for the most part the spawns are the same, and you'll find that once you start clearing out Zealot mode with maybe, you know, not too much effort, when you actually get into hardcore mode, aside from getting the hard code heebie-jeebies, which you will get, I admit, I can tell you, no matter how many times I've played through Zealot mode and how many times I've actually just swam through Zealot mode, once I started this walkthrough, the heebie-jeebies set in so powerfully. It is real. I didn't imagine it would be real, but it's actually going to affect you. It's going to affect a couple of things you do. And just for hardcore mode, there's a level of BS that is impenetrable by any other mode in this game. I don't want to say this game is, I don't want to say this walkthrough is hard. Or I keep screwing that up. I don't want to say hardcore mode is hard. It's just, for me, there was a level of BS that I could not imagine would go down while I was playing this game in hardcore mode. And it struck me by surprise many times. And there are several times in this walkthrough where I did get through the situation, but you'll see I was caught in quite a pickle. And it took some ingenuity to get out, and some quick thinking. And that's why I love my weapon set. That's why I'm saying you have to choose your weapon set. You have to choose weapons that you feel natural to. And I definitely did that, and I feel like it got me through a lot of tough spots that I found myself landed in this walkthrough. So this beginning part is pretty much the basics, the tutorial. I chose this video to speak over because, you know, it's really simple. It's nothing. It's almost hard to miss anything. It's almost comical if you miss anything, really. I mean, everything is kind of put in your face, including the necromorphs, including Isaac, apparently. So you get the kinesis module right here, and once you get that, you're set, and there are a bunch of spikes that you can collect under that body. Once you pick up the body, you're out of spikes, so just know that. And you can actually use the body to break the glass, which I didn't mean to do, but I guess I did it anyway. And you can see there's a result. 2 necromorphs spawn in. They both are super weak. They just take 1 spike to kill. So that's really simple, isn't it? And another thing. Hardcore mode says it drops ammo and health very scarcely. Maybe, all right. Maybe because of strategies, you'll find yourself using less health kits. I'll agree to that. But as for health and ammo dropping scarcely, I don't believe that. It's probably the same drop rate as Zealot mode. And Zealot mode isn't too is not too stubborn with the drops. And as you can see, the hardcore heebie-jeebies is setting in strong there. I almost never missed these 3 on the first time, and now I'm missing them. I picked up the flat object from the shelf, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is how it's gonna be. But no, I do beat the game. I am very happy to say I've beaten this game. I remember the first time I ever saw that there was a hardcore mode where you only save 3 times, and where you're playing on the hardest difficulty. I remember thinking that I probably would never want to do this, but as you guys already know, I'm starting to sneak in a little bit more walkthroughs in here, and I think this makes for the perfect walkthrough. Dead Space is one of those games where preparation is key, where preparation will dictate whether you live or die. And this guy is so funny. I like him. He's like one of the comical characters that you have to save, but obviously he's gonna die.
What the fuck are you doing? Shit! I'm trying.
And I love how the necromorph is just like, shut up. Oh man, I like that part. So yeah, we have the plasma cutter now. If you've been playing in Zealot mode, you'll see that the necromorphs are just as easy to kill. So whereas it may take 2 shots to the leg and then a 1 shot to the arm to kill him. And this guy, make sure you shoot him in the head, because I always waste ammo shooting him in the body. I don't know what. Excuse me. That was a random configuration of bodily functions. But there's always I always waste ammo shooting him in the body when I know you have to shoot him in the head. So just shoot him in his head or his arm. Either way. Now, there are no necromorphs until after this ventilation scare. When you kind of come into this room, there's going to be one that spawns through there. And then there are others that are either going to spawn through there again, or they're going to spawn from your right. Now, this is one of the moments I was talking about when I said hardcore mode started to switch it up on me. For one, I guess I didn't have the bodies. You know, I'm so used to being able to do exactly what you just saw, which is me take the spike off his body when he was dead and then go in for the kill. But that first body didn't give it up, so I had to do some improvising, and I tossed the health kit at him like, ah, get it back, get back. But obviously that's not going to work. Not with the necromorphs in town. So this is mainly still all tutorial. This is still all getting to know the game, the layout, how the game will... It's a huge, gigantic tease. And it's barely a description of how much is to come during the rest of Hardcore walkthrough. It's comical how many times I've messed up a strategy I've practiced so many times and ended up dying. I'll occasionally have through the video ways I've died, where I'll show you ways that I've died during practice runs, and I'll show you how I actually get through the area. You know, it's really funny how you'll have a strategy and it'll go completely out the window just because of an incorrect spawn. It's amazing. It's funny. So now all these guys are just going to spawn on top, and they'll give you a nice easy pathway where you can actually just tunnel them in right there, and you'll be fine. Nobody spawns next to you, nobody spawns behind you, so don't worry about that. Just be ready when they're all coming out, and you'll be fine. So here's what I was talking about with ammo conservation, where if you want to save ammo on that, you definitely have to aim for the tentacles. from the get-go. One thing I've learned
I do
about
need
the
your help.
necromorphs is that none of
Talk to
them
me.
can survive without their arms. And because if they don't have their arms, they can't kill you, and therefore they're useless in the game.
Fine.
So
So where the hell am I?
I don't know why I
How did
didn't
another
heal.
Necromorph outbreak get started?
That's actually very weird. Normally I would just heal and pick up that item, but I don't know why I didn't heal. So if you actually go upstairs, across from where you saw Strauss, there's actually an open door where you can get an audio log, or not an audio log, a text log, I believe, and just one box of goodies. I kind of like to get all the goodies. I'm one of those guys. Where I know the goodies are, I like to go there. But if it's too much of a hassle, if it wastes too much ammo, or if it's too risky to get something, you'll see where I just decide, nah, it's not worth it. It's really, most of the time, it's worth it. But there are some key areas in here where it's just definitely not worth it. So here is the stasis room, and this room is where you will magically get the stasis. Now, I do believe that this necromorph here is actually a one-hit kill if you do not stasis him. That's because I have actually died because I thought the initial stasis was enough. I remember playing this my first time through. I forgot what difficulty I was on. I know I wasn't on hard or anything. I know I was just on a regular difficulty. And I tried to shoot him. Yeah, this is just one of those times where I'm like, okay, this is how hardcore mode is going to be. They're going to jit me of ammo, and they're going to jit me of items. So now I'm getting in the mindset of someone who's ready for the BS. And even then, you'll see that doesn't work all the time. So here are the two spitters that are prevalent in this room. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the spitters are the only enemies in the game that when you cut their arms off, they actually will still be alive. So you have to go through the leg and dual arm dismemberment to really kill them. I forgot what I was talking about. I can't remember. I know I was talking about something related to the stasis guy. I remember the first time I played this game, I had very decent health, and I had thought that the initial stasis that the game put him through was enough. So I tried to aim at him, and he couldn't die.
What the fuck?
And he killed me in one hit. So I'm not sure if that's done on purpose or that was just a stroke of luck for the necromorph or what. But I believe he's a one-hit kill. By the way, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, a wonderful time spent with your families, a wonderful time eating up. Honestly, I don't really celebrate the holiday. I just enjoy the time off or the time spent with people. Now, these are the conduit rooms. Conduit rooms, I wasn't initially going to include them in this walkthrough, but funnily enough, because of all the BS that happened in this little introduction stage that I wasn't prepared for, mainly you'll see the flukes or the mistakes if you rewatch this video, where you can probably understand that I wouldn't really make that mistake. It was just some hardcore heebie-jeebies hitting me hard. But yeah, I'm actually including the conduit room, so I do apologize if you don't have access to the conduit rooms. And always watch out for that guy. He's sleeping there right before the power node, right before the first store in the game. He caught me a few times in zealot mode, just because I was trying to rush through and I wasn't really taking my time, which I recommend during hardcore mode you do. You're not trying to get caught off guard. You don't want to get caught off guard. You get caught off guard and you die, you will restart either a huge chunk of the game or you will restart from the beginning of the game, depending on where you saved. So do take your time. There are parts of this game where you can actually rush through, however, and you'll see me do that through the walkthrough. So as you saw, I had all the DLC. I had access to all of the armor in the game. However, when you first start the game, all of that armor is actually the same. It has the same inventory and the same armor, so you do not actually have an advantage, except for the secondary effects, like the gun boost, the stasis boost, the health pack boost. Those are the only boosts that you actually have. Other than that, the armor and the inventory slots actually remain the same. So we're coming up towards the end of this video. I just wanted to make a short introduction. I wanted to make a short introduction video, to sort of get the grounds on how I prepared for this. Sort of get the grounds for how I set the grounds rather for how my mentality was before rushing into this, or I didn't rush into this. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why my diction is so poor today. I know what I'm saying, but for some reason I'm just, maybe it's because I just woke up, by the way, and it's just there's a lot of things in this game that are very easy to calculate. That's the right word to say. And it just takes a lot of practice, a lot of replaying, a lot of love, quite frankly, of the Dead Space genre to really pay attention to everything that works, to even try out strategies. It takes a lot of love. You have to love this game. You have to love trying new things or inventing your own ways of taking out necromorphs and having fun. That's the second thing I want to mention before this video ends. Have fun. You're having one of the hardest experiences in the Dead Space 2. I don't know how he hit me. He did no damage. He just had to hit me. You're having one of the hardest experiences in the Dead Space universe, or Dead Space 2 universe, so enjoy it. Make it the best. And if you don't want to get scared by that guy, just, kinesis the little thing. And yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you would stick by this walkthrough of hardcore mode Dead Space. And there's definitely more to come. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, wholeness and adios.